Hi, my name's Ellie. I'm a third year psychology student and student content creator here at Lancaster University, and I'm here to talk to you today about finding and managing part-time work throughout your degree. So I know that for many students, including myself, money can be a big worry whilst you're at university, but there are so many opportunities for finding part-time work alongside your degree while studying at Lancaster, whether that be working for the university as an ambassador or as a content creator or in one of the many food outlets on campus. Or if you choose to work in the city at one of many supermarkets, restaurants, cafes and bars. So at home, I worked for the supermarket Tesco, and I was lucky enough to be able to transfer stores when I moved to Lancaster. I'm contracted to work 8 hours a week, and those shifts are on a Sunday, so managing my job at Tesco alongside my studies hasn't been too difficult. There's always a lot of overtime offered at my store, so around the end of term times when I've submitted my coursework and I don't have as much to do, I do tend to take up some overtime shifts just for a bit of extra money, which is a really good opportunity for me to be able to work that around when I have more free time. But as a student, there are definitely a lot of pros to working at a supermarket, such as the first dibs on the reduced food and the colleague discount, which is definitely helpful when you're working on a budget. In terms of finding part-time work within the university, the ERS, which is the Employment and Recruitment Services, have lots of tools on their website, such as a CV checker, to help guide you when applying for jobs, and you can find current vacancies advertised on their website too. It's really easy to apply to university advertised jobs through the ERS, as you can save details on your profile, and it's super easy to upload your CV and cover letters to apply for roles that spark your interest. I first began working for the university at the beginning of this academic year. I applied for the role of student content creator, and I also applied to be a psychology student ambassador. I did end up getting both roles, which I am super grateful for, but at the time I was slightly worried about how I was going to manage both on top of already working at Tesco, and then obviously I'm in my third year, so it's dissertation season, so I knew I was going to have a lot to manage. But actually, working for the university is so manageable because a lot of the work and hours that are offered are elective, so you do have to put yourself forward for them, which means that there isn't that expectation on you of all the hours they want you to work. So if you're struggling with your course or you're not finding work as manageable, you are able to take that step back, and your work is basically based around what you choose to take on. I really enjoy my role as a student content creator because each month they release a list of tasks and we get to choose which one sounds most interesting to us. In my role as a psychology ambassador, I'm part of a team that focuses on social media, so every 2 weeks we meet up for a 2-hour bulk filming session for our TikTok page, and again, this is something I do find really enjoyable. I am balancing quite a lot at the minute with my dissertation, 3 modules, and then working at Tesco and the university. So I always make sure to have some kind of visual timetable to help me manage my time and remember everything I have to do each week. Where I'm at such an important and busy time of my degree, I need to be quite disciplined with myself in setting goals for each week. I found that it doesn't really work for me to create such a detailed timetable of all of the hours I'm going to spend studying, because there are always things that come up, or you might not stay completely focused, and I think it's better to set yourself goals to work towards rather than being upset with yourself for not sticking to a certain amount of hours. So I do find that when I'm managing my work alongside my studies, I think it's great to make sure you're constantly setting new goals for yourself to make sure that you don't fall behind on your studies. I'm also learning at the minute that it's really important to take time for yourself. I'm trying to be a little bit more boundaried with, turning off my email notifications when it gets to the evening, and really trying to implement social time and time for spending on enjoyable hobbies and activities, because that downtime you take is really important so that you give yourself a rest and you're able to come back to your work with a clearer mind to avoid getting burnt out and to make sure that your studies aren't affected by the work that you're doing outside. In terms of how I manage my finances at uni, I'm lucky enough that my student finance maintenance loan does cover the majority of my rent, but I come from a low-income household, so I don't get any financial help from family, so it's always been quite drilled into me to find part-time work, take all the opportunities I can to try and earn money. I try to be quite frugal and not spend too much, which does mean that I am then able to put some money into my savings, but that has mainly come from me taking on these extra roles and extra jobs on top of my hours at Tesco. So last year Tesco was mainly just a bit of a base for me, whereas now I'm able to kind of add to my savings based on the extra jobs that I've taken on. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this video can be somewhat reassuring that there are plenty of opportunities for part-time work at Lancaster, and that managing work alongside your studies is definitely doable.